Okay, Captain and Explored, Kevin and Videoland audio commentary, 11:30 a.m. on Thursday, June 24, 2010. Hello, this is Mark Moore, and I have decided to do audio commentaries on Captain and the Game Master, and this is my first time doing an audio commentary, so please bear with me. Um, This is the opening theme song. It's 1 minute long in season one. This animation here doesn't match up with the animation in the first episode. The house that you just saw, Kevin's house, that actually comes from an old Nintendo commercial. Um, it's Dorian Bareg playing Kevin, and Louie from Critters of the Cinema playing Duke the dog. I'll get more into this live action segment later. Um, okay, the title Kevin in Videoland probably comes from Alice in Wonderland. You'll notice a lot of pop culture references. This opening scene here is ripped off from The Wizard of Oz. Um, I always wondered how the palace could survive a siege for 7 years. Here we have the villains, Mother Brain, King Hippo, and Eggplant Wizard. Mother Brain is actually voiced by Levi Stubbs Jr., the lead singer of the Four Tops. And he had also voiced Audrey 2 in Little Shop of Horrors a few years earlier, the remake with Rick Moranis. I don't know if they cast him because of that, or because Mother Brain in this incarnation looks similar to Audrey 2. Tentacles instead of vines, but whatever. Uh, I don't know. But the voice sounds the same pretty much. Um, Here's our heroes. Princess Lana. She's not from any game, she was just made up. Pitt from Kid Icarus. Yes, he is called Pitt in the supposed writer's Bible on the DVD set. Mega Man. Um, Simon Belmont from Castlevania. Supposedly, his look was based off of his voice actor Andrew Cavadas, but I'm not sure. This voice is never explained. The Legend of Videoland isn't explained. None of this is explained, like if it's a sentient entity or whatever. A lot of fans call this the Power Glove on a pedestal, but it's never actually mentioned by name here. Um, and now, you see, I told you this segment here doesn't match with the segment that we see in the opening theme. But anyway, so the Ultimate Warp opens up, and this segment was shot by I-Square Communications. I never heard of them before. But anyway, apparently Season 1 writer Jeffrey Scott was aware that this was being shot for the opening theme, so he called for it to be included in the script in the first episode. So it's not the other way around. It's not like they took it from the first episode. He took it from the theme song to add to the first episode. You gotta wonder how Kevin recognizes all these characters when they look nothing like they do in the games, but I guess you gotta assume that the characters look like this in the games on Kevin's alternate Earth, or whatever. That doesn't explain why King Hippo was peach colored in the Punch Out game in the theme. I'll get more into that later. Princess Lana is voiced by Venus Terzo. She was Black Arachne in Beast Wars and Beast Machines. She was also in Gundam Seed Destiny, as was Matt Hill, who voices Kevin. Andrew Cavadas was Celine's father in the flashback in Underworld Evolution, appropriately. McMahon is Doug Parker, who voiced Starscream in the Beast Wars episode Possession. Kid Icarus is a very young Alejandro Juliani. He was very young when he did this show, and he later went on Battlestar Galactica, I think. Tom Wright voiced Duke. I mean, Duke just barks basically and whimpers. I like that. That's such an insult. A gaming insult. Here we have a little tiny recurring thing where Lana talks with her father, who isn't named yet, but he'll be, his name is King Charles. She did this in only one other episode later on. I would have liked to have seen more of it. I gotta wonder why Mother Brain doesn't just send in her huge army that's right outside the palace to overrun the place. Why she send just these two bozos to go kidnap Lana? And why kidnap Lana when she could just overrun the palace? But then the series would be over. Yeah, I really don't understand. I mean, this series, it shouldn't have lasted for an entire series. This plot could stretch out for like one movie at best. Because the bad guys are such idiots, and the heroes have to be lowered in intelligence to be idiots as well, and yeah. I don't understand the redesign behind Mother Brain. I guess she's just supposed to be comedic or something. Here we have the target practice room in the palace, and as you can see, these three just bicker with each other. It's no wonder that they couldn't defeat Mother Brain and her lackeys, because they just fight themselves, as Kevin will later point out. I like that transition. So now, why they just leave Kevin alone in the throne room in the palace? I mean, he doesn't belong there. Why did they just leave him unsupervised like that? But whatever. Here you'll see just how big of a wimp that Simon Belmont is in this series. Let's watch. Yeah, okay. As for why, there's a warp in the floor, like right, or hovering above the floor, whatever, right by Lana's bedroom. I have no idea, and apparently it leads back down to some lower room in the palace. I'm not sure why they created a new princess instead of use someone like Zelda, except Zelda was in her own series at the time, so. But I like Lana, she's nice. I just wish they gave her a weapon. Apparently she was supposed to have like some kind of power scepter. It was in the early concept art, but it was removed before the series entered production, or during production, or whatever. Anyway, it's not here. She has it in the comic book, but that's a different universe. I don't know how Kevin could be fooled by King Hippo's poor impersonation, but yeah, whatever. And yeah, these two are just complete buffoons, and you'll notice a recurring thing is whenever Eggplant Wizard gets hit, vegetables pop out of him. They'll stop calling it a super power pad after this episode. This replacement music, I'm using the DVD version, obviously. originally they had the theme from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly playing here, and they replaced it in later syndication and on the DVD set for copyright reasons. It appeared on the Family Channel though, so I guess the music was replaced only after a certain amount of time, I guess. They use a lot of video game background music here. It's probably re-recorded, but you just heard Gutsman's music from Mega Man 1. And you gotta wonder how come Kevin didn't see King Hippo and Eggplant Wizard pulling Lana into her bedroom as he approached, but anyway, so here Lana's been kidnapped and Simon is giving orders which basically consists of making himself look good instead of, rescuing Lana. And the other two don't even try to go and rescue Lana. They're just getting back at him. So Kevin has to be the one to stop this bickering. You gotta wonder how they even survived for like 7 years. Kevin uses select to pause. I don't really understand that. I know select is pause in some games, but in the majority it's start. And that's the first and only time you'll see him use unpause. Usually the pause just runs out. Simon has this weird backpack that apparently has an infinite storage capacity. It's magical, I guess. And the map is inconsistent from shot to shot, if you'll notice. And how they could even read it anyways, beyond me, it doesn't make any sense. Yes, the 2-head gold coin says My Hero on it. Supposedly, Lana had it minted for Simon, though. He could have just as well made it himself to show it off. I don't understand Simon's getup either. He looks like a World War I fighter pilot or something. Now you notice when Kevin tells him to be quiet, Mega Man just picks up the lid, throws it, makes a loud noise. He doesn't listen, does he? So they follow Simon's directions, and what is that? Any over there stand for warp zone, maybe? Anyway, so they're on Congo Land, which is based on like a jungle in Africa. I'm not sure why. I mean, this is a few years before Donkey Kong Country. So really the only thing that Jeffrey Scott had to go on was like a construction site type thing for Donkey Kong, but he changed it to Congo Land, which I guess, Congo and Africa might have been an influence, I'm not sure. Donkey Kong's way too big, though. He looks like, he looks more like King Kong. Donkey Kong in the games, actually, he's big, but he's not that big. So, basically, this is just the side trip, I guess, just to introduce Donkey Kong and to fill up a bit of time. I would have liked to have seen them more on Metroid, but that's just me. Yeah, there's a lot of slapstick and heroes being idiots on this show. It's like Simon doesn't even realize he's on Donkey Kong. Anyway. Oh, and then he gets flat, and you'll see he got flat, and this yellow ball of light that Kevin turns into, you never see that again. It's really weird. It's kind of neat, actually. I would have liked to have seen more of it. Simon getting flattened is very much Looney Tunes type physics, and I really don't like that, especially not in a video game based series, but um, I'm not sure why Donkey Kong was climbing that tree anyway, except I guess just to get away from them. Alright, so Donkey Kong's in pursuit, and that's a warp out of the world. Except there's, that's obviously not from a Donkey Kong game. It kind of reminds me of the Venus fire trap from Super Mario Brothers. It's kind of like commonly called a piranha plant by fans. It might have been influenced, I'm not sure. You gotta admire Lana here. She's not afraid of Mother Brain. Now, it's interesting that they talk about warriors that had tried to rescue her father and stuff like that. I'm not sure if that's referring to Simon, Mega Man, and Kid Icarus, or to perhaps some... Well, probably, yeah. Apparently they must have tried to rescue her father at some point and didn't succeed. We'll find out what happens to her father later. Now, how they climb the volcano so fast, this must be hours later. It has to be. I love that line. That's really funny, actually. As I mentioned earlier, I'd done written reviews of every single episode of the series, and these commentaries aren't going to be as detailed, because really, there's a lot of stuff that you can nitpick here. Now, the pause function, it's inconsistent. Earlier it paused them, now it doesn't pause them. So the pause just pauses whatever the writer wants it to pause, basically. How Kevin knew that those boulders would get them off Congo Land, I'm not sure. And how he got them to Metroid, I'm not sure. Did he use his power pan? And if so, why doesn't it run out of more power? And yeah. And Kevin talks about that he's played this game before. What kind of game is he talking about where they have to go and rescue Lana? I mean, and he talks about playing Donkey Kong, and yet Congo Land looks nothing like Donkey Kong, so you gotta figure the games on Kevin's Earth must be vastly different than our own. That's the only way that can make any sense. So now that they're on Metroid, Simon still is intent on doing his own thing. You'll notice in his first episodes, there's a recurring theme of Simon having bad luck with warps. It's just a small thing, but it's kind of nice that it's recurring. How Kevin spawn opening? You'll see there's an opening, like a hole in the roof that Kevin can fall down into. How'd he see that? But oh, that was real lucky. Hello, spontaneous romance. So Lana's only interested in Kevin because he rescued her, or what? I don't know. No, you're not, you doofus. There's a hole in the ceiling. And here's Kevin's first confrontation with Mother Brain, the first time they see each other. So they fall down into the corridors of Metroid. Now, none of this is actually like Metroid, really. A lot of these enemies and stuff, I mean, I'm no expert, but a lot of the enemies and stuff were just made up. Here we have music replacement again. I originally played a cover version of Shakedown by Bob Seger, which was the theme to Beverly Hills Cop 2. in this episode, it's kind of neat that they actually took some care and how much power that Kevin's weapons have, and apparently the Zapper uses the power pad's power, but they take some care, but Kevin still gets off a few more shots than he should be able to, and he runs out of power only after melting that thick door down. But that's still more cure than we'll see in later episodes. In later episodes, he pretty much has almost all the power that he wants. Also, the controller is not called a power pad. The power pad is actually a completely different NES accessory. I'm not sure why they called it a power pad on the series, except, well, I guess that they needed a name for it. Where was Simon this whole time, and how did Mega Man and Kid Icarus get out of the tower if they were trapped? Oh yeah, they probably flew up through the roof. Anyway, Simon's whip is magical. I always thought it was alive, but apparently it's magical according to I think the writer's Bible that was included on the DVD set. Why does Mother Brain have a device that can do that can make her spin around really fast? And I never really understood why it's so dangerous to finish her off, except for the electric sparks, I guess. But that's still... Hey, where'd Mother Brain's huge army go? Seriously, they were laying siege on the palace for 7 years, and then, the end team goes off the Metroid and they come back and the army's gone. You're really not going to address that, are you? Yeah, and there's no sign that siege ever took place now. So, Kevin does the right thing by wanting to go home, and you gotta wonder, the way that he hears his mom talking to him, it's like he must have been gone for hours and she didn't check on him this entire time. It's kind of strange. I mean, so of course he chooses to stay in Videoland instead of doing his chores and stuff like that and his homework. So one of the handful of times in the series that Lana kisses Kevin. And why does Kevin fire off his zapper, and how did he get his power back? I guess they must have recharged his weapons between scenes or something. Yeah, so that's the first episode of the show. I hope you enjoyed the commentary. Please let me know what you think of it. And that's it. Thanks for listening.